Hello viewers, I'm Advocate K. Rawat from Lexis & Company. Today I'm going to talk about caveat emptor. So the doctrine of caveat emptor is an integral part of sales of goods and it translates to let the buyers be aware. This means it lays the responsibility of their choice on the buyers themselves. It is specifically defined in section 16 of the Act. There is no implied warranty or condition as to the quality of the fitness for any particular purpose of goods supplied under such a contract of sale. So, a seller makes his good available in the open market. The buyer previews all his options and then accordingly make his choice. Now, let's assume that the product turns out to be a defective or inferior quality. The doctrine says that the seller will not be responsible for this. The buyer himself is responsible for the choices made. So, the doctrine attempts to make the buyers more conscious of his choice. It is the duty of the buyer to check the quality and the usefulness of the product he is purchasing. If the product turns out to be defective or does not live up to its potential, the seller will not be responsible for this. Let us get this with an example. A bought a house or A bought a horse from B. A wanted to enter the horse in a race. Turns out the horse was not capable of running a race on account of being lame, but A did not inform B of his intentions, so B will not be responsible for the defects of the horse. The doctrine of caveat emptor will apply over here. However, the buyer can shift the responsibility to the seller if there are three following conditions. Number one, if the buyer shares with seller his purpose for the purchase. Second, if the buyer relies on the knowledge and on technology expertise for the seller, and the last one is and the seller sells such goods. Now, exceptionals of doctrine of caveat emptor. The doctrine of caveat emptor has certain specific exceptions. Let us take a brief look at those exceptions. Number one, fitness of product for the buyer purpose. Number two, good purchased under brand name. Number 3, goods sold by description. Number 4, goods of merchantable quality. Number 5, sales by sample. Number 6, sales by description and sample. Number 7, usage of tools. Number 8, fraud, misrepresentation by seller. So these are few exceptions made under the caveat emptor. I hope the topic of caveat emptor is pretty much clear to you. If not, then do let me know in the comment sections regarding your doubt. I'll clear up all your doubts regarding caveat emptor in my next video. Till then, take care of yourself. I'll see you guys super soon in my next video with some other law topic.